Last time on Square Roots, our less than idyllic childhood is interrupted by a bullet, but after a good long time skip, we set out on our quest for revenge. Later, we make friends and influence people by performing the same dance over and over again, just like Bob Fosse. Boom! Sick Fosse burn!
Hey everyone, and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I am joined by Matthew Van Zant.
Hey yo.
John Crucible Brandon.
Oi, salad dodger.
And Vanessa.
I'm Vanessa.
And this is a podcast where we play and talk about your favorite classic RPGs like Fable 2.
Fable 2.
Fable 2 should have had a subtitle, like Fable 2, the Chapter 2.
Why is this game so janky?
Is it?
What?
Like, everything's so janky.
Everything feels really
it's so
smooth.
janky.
What are you talking about? Oh, I know why it feels janky for Matt.
Oh,
He's not
we all
harnessing the
know.
power of the Xbox.
Yeah.
Oh, that's horseshit. This game is janky as hell. Like, the menus are all a fucking slow mess, and the trying to, like, interact with objects is not very good, and
I do agree
like, a
with
lot of
that.
that stuff is super fucking broken. The dog just, like, walks in front of your feet sometimes and stops you for some reason. Like, all sorts of crazy shit happens. This game is janky as fuck.
Since we're doing this right now, my biggest complaint about the game is that I'm so beloved by everyone in the game world that when I go into a building, there's a really high risk that all the people in the town are going to follow me in there and I will not be able to get out. So, like, if I have to go in a building, I have to, like, talk to that person really quick and then run out, or they will, like, flood the building and I cannot get through them to reach the exit.
I had the opposite thing happening for a while where I was so frightening and evil that everybody ran away from me, so I couldn't really, like, shop, and I'd get sent on assassination quests, and my targets would see me from a mile away and run screaming, and they would, like, run out of the area, and then it's just game over. You just fail.
Well, before we get into that, let's actually mention at the top, we do have a Patreon poll going on right now, and it's for it's for the last Square Roots game of 2020.
Vagrant's Story is currently in the lead, which is an absolute travesty.
Wait, isn't that your selection?
No,
that's mine.
Oh. Is this the first time a Jim game was winning?
I think it is.
Vagrant Story is neither an RPG nor a sequel.
It's a sequel to Tactics, kind
It's
of.
like a spiritual sequel.
We haven't played Tactics for the show.
We played Final Fantasy 12.
Oh, that's true. It is a prequel to 12.
These are probably complaints that should have been brought up before we were 2 weeks into the
no
poll.
one expected Jim to win.
Well, it's too late now.
Is it though? I mean, could we do some sort of a recount, or maybe like not all of the
No.
Patreon votes are valid, so we can?
No.
I will take you to court. I will sue you for trying to change the votes.
Mm-hmm.
I will lose because we can't change the votes.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, Vanessa. It's locked in.
Good thing nobody knows about the fact that my dad is on the board of Patreon.
We do have a poll going on. It is for the last game of the year. The options are Vagrant Story, which is in the lead. Fallout 3.
Trials of Mana.
Trials of Mana was my selection, and John picked Parasite Eve 2. So if you are a patron and you have not voted yet, please go vote. And if you are not a patron and you
would like to vote,
please sign up.
Do not
and
ask
go
for
vote.
favors from hosts in return for voting for their game. That just seems unfair.
Is that an actual valid concern that you have?
Is that a thing that happened?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
It's not exactly true.
In the Dave Coulier cut it out thing, what's his motion for it?
I thought he just pointed. So if it was
No. It's like cut it. No, he swipes his hand. Cut it out.
Cut it out.
It's finger scissors, hand swipe, thumbs back.
Right. Okay.
Cut it out.
I gotta Google it now.
That's
I don't know if I believe
that was cool. I may have just made some shit up.
No,
like, why do you
I mean-
always got to follow behind me and Google shit? Just believe me
I
when I
believe
lie to
that.
you.
I'm not
he
Googling-
does point. He says, cut it out. So two
so it, like,
fingers,
points to the
one
side?
finger, thumb. 2 fingers, 1 finger, thumb.
Why is it pointing to the side? Dave, come on.
Maybe it's over there.
I guess.
Maybe it's sign language. Why are we talking about this? Hey, Patreon, we talked about that. You know what we need to talk about? Let's talk about how we leveled up. Jim.
Whoa. I am finally harnessing the full power of the Xbox
Whoa.
with my Xbox Series S console.
Whoa.
And so far I've played a few 360 games. I fired up Mass Effect and Mass Effect 2 and Shadows of the Damned. Those are all super fun. I also got
Shadows of
Assassin's
the
Creed.
Damned?
Yeah, remember that game?
Was that the one with Bruce Campbell doing voices?
That's the one that was made by, I think, the Suda51 guy, or written by him.
Right. Yeah.
The main
for some reason,
character's name is Garcia fucking Hotspur, which is super silly.
Yeah.
Excuse
right.
me?
That game always looked fucking terrible to me.
It is, the writing's pretty cringy, but it's a fun game to play. That one looks great though. I got Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and I'm very, very satisfied with how quickly it runs PUBG. Also, I was pretty stoked with how easy it was to set up through the app. It took like 2 minutes, and my Xbox was like up and running. It was amazing. That's how I leveled up. John, how did you level up?
Well, I gotta say, I am super happy to be in the next generation with my new Xbox Series X.
Whoa.
It is a big obelisk that I've put behind my TV, out of sight, so I can't see the vape smoke coming out of it or anything. I for the
Look at
first
vape.
for the first 3 days I owned it, all I did was play original Xbox games, Xbox 360 games, and Xbox One games on it. Like nothing from the new generation. And
There's really not much from the new generation, right?
well, I did end up buying a game. I'll get to that after, but I just want to talk about some old games first. On the original Xbox, I did play the game Black, which is on Game Pass. That game is terrible. Like, it's 2006 and it looks like a 2002 game. It's a shooter by the guys that did...
Some generic ass modern warfare shooter that John is
Oh,
obsessed
well, when
with
that
for
one
some
came
reason.
out, people were like, "Whoa, these weapons look super
Exactly.
realistic."
And
Look
it's
at
got,
the,
like,
look at the plaster flying off the walls when you shoot.
Yeah, like it's by the Burnout people, so it's got lots of destruction physics and stuff. But
That's
it
fun.
is one of the worst. Like it plays way worse than any Halo game. It looks like garbage.
It's
and
super dark. The game is so dark.
Yeah, and it's got like these unskippable, terrible saw edit FMV, like full motion video FMV cutscenes that are like the worst made for video horror movie cutscenes, and it's so edgy. It's like, you did lots of war crimes, and we'll tell the public about what you did unless you do our missions. It's like, oh, why would I want to play as this person? And everyone's just swearing all the time, and all these like radio voiceovers you get. It is garbage. Fable 2 though runs amazing. Like it's for any 360 or Xbox original game are upgraded to 4K, and Fable 2 especially, like there's no frame rate chugs. It reduces the bloom because the bloom's now like at a higher resolution, so it shrinks the bloom, which makes the game a lot clearer looking and just really pretty. Like it reduces the crazy bloom that you got in Fable 2. And it runs way better. Like all the mini games are a lot easier because they run at a proper frame rate.
Oh, fuck
Which is-
you.
Which is great. So I was way more accurate with it. I can stream it just through the Xbox. Oh, it's really weird. On the PS4, you can just stream through like the share button, but this you have to like install a Twitch app and then run the Twitch app and then start streaming through that. Then you go back to your game. And after that, it works fine. But it's just a weird way to stream. I also, let's see, what else did I play? I played Stuntman Ignition, which is this 360 game that I was obsessed with for a while, and it runs amazingly on that. And that game like aged really well because it's got like that sort of score chasing gameplay where you play the same levels over and over to get a better score, sort of like Trials Evolution and all that. And I think those sort of games weren't popular at the time. Like it felt really outdated when it came out, but playing it now, it's like, oh no, this is like a fun retro throwback game. It's about doing like stunt driving scenes from fake movies, and it's about maximizing your score as you do them. And it's really goofy and really fun. Like you're playing through basically Dante's Peak to start. And it's
cool.
it's a fake Dante's Peak, but
So there's no Pierce Brosnan.
There's no Pierce Brosnan.
There's no
Sadly,
grandma
that's a huge
pushing the
bummer.
boat through lava.
No. Well, no. It sort of makes reference to that actually. You're trying to save your grandma at one point. And it's filmed in Vancouver, which is fun. And there's also a Dukes of Hazzard movie, but without the Confederate flag on the car. So hey, thumbs up. I also what else did I play? State of Decay, which runs really well. PUBG, which it's fine. It's locked at 30 right now. But then I was like, okay, I should buy a next gen game for this next gen console. This is before.
Wait, it's locked at 30? Oh,
for now.
Until the November update.
Yeah, it just hasn't been updated yet. So I bought a next gen game. I bought Yakuza Like a Dragon, and that game is like, it seems like a mat game. It's
Like
really
a
delightful.
dragon.
It's
I
about
don't like those Yakuza games at all.
But this guy, so this guy is like kind of the main character is kind of a dummy, and he the only way he copes with his crappy life is that he imagines he's playing Dragon Quest. So unlike the earlier ones which have button mashy combat, this one has Dragon Quest combat. And he like literally says, no, I just like thinking of myself as a Dragon Quest character. And the little loading symbols him as a Dragon Quest character, like little sprite art. It's really cute and really funny. And it's got some like really neat writing. But it crashes all the time. Quick resume, like it crashes to desktop on my Series X twice last night. The quick resume broke and I had to reset my box in order to, like, the game wouldn't start. Like the old games work fine, but trying to play a current modern game is kind of garbage.
That's funny.
I got an external drive for all the old games because there's only 800 gigabytes of storage on a Series X. And yeah, I recommend doing that because you can play all your original Xbox and Series or Xbox One and 360 games off an external. So you can fill up that instead of filling up your storage drive. And also you can download Series X games to it and then copy them to your internal drive when you're playing them and then move them back when you're done. So that way you don't have to keep re-downloading the same games over and over. Because the PS5 only has, I think, 600 and you can't move games. But speaking of, Vanessa,
Yeah.
how did you level up?
Well, I am delighted to join the next generation of consoles. Unlike Jim and John, I went with the PlayStation 5 Series Digital one. It's very nice. A lot of people say they don't like the way it looks because it stands out too much, but I don't mind that because it's sleek, it's black and white. It sort of looks like a contemporary office tower or something like that. It's very fast, and I think the most exciting part about it is the controller, which has, I guess it has like dual rumblings or something. Like the vibration just feels so much better than on the old controllers. I think they have smaller vibration mechanisms and like 2 or 3 of them, so it can sort of vibrate on one side or the other in an isolated way. And it has a little microphone in the controller as well as a speaker. So like in their demo game, Astro Playground, your characters are running and like the running sound comes from the controller and the world sounds come from the TV. And it has dynamic tension triggers, which are really impressive. They can either function as regular triggers or in certain situations, the tension on them amps up so they're harder to pull down, and it just makes for a more tactile experience. And it's just nice to hold. It feels pleasant. It has a good texture to it. And I highly recommend getting your hands on some.
I saw on Twitter the other day that the pattern that makes up the grip of the PS5 controller is actually little triangles, circles, squares, and X's.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I need to take a closer look at it.
It looks neat.
That's pretty fancy and amazing.
Yeah.
As I said, I tried Astro Playground, which is their demo game. It's a little platformer, and it's pretty good. Like, it shows off what the controller can do, and it's charming. I'm not mad about it. And then I also started playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla. The load times are crazy fast. I haven't run into any glitches with it yet. People have been talking about it being glitchy at launch, but that hasn't been my experience. I also tried a little PUBG. It was fine. To be honest, I didn't notice the difference that much, but I didn't play it very much either. But yeah, overall, it's a nice console. If you're familiar with PlayStation interfaces, the interface will be intuitive, and I look forward to a sort of true exclusive next-gen game coming out that will take advantage of all of the functions on the fancy controller.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I leveled up. Matt, how did you level up?
I would like to talk about a movie that I watched.
Wait, Matt, what about
no, Matt, that's
your
not what we're doing this level up.
your
we're
next
talking
generation?
about the next.
This is our next gen
would like
roundtable.
Yeah.
to talk about a next gen movie that I watched called Superman, Man of Tomorrow.
Did you watch it on your new
Yeah, see, that doesn't sound like
Xbox?
it's... wait, no, I understand what's happening. You downloaded the media app, and you watched it on your new console, which is... You're going to announce it here first? Ba-ba-ba-ba-bum.
So I watched a movie called Superman, Man of Tomorrow, and I really enjoyed it, and I want to recommend it to all of my friends and listeners. It's another one of these DC animated universe movies, and it's another, like, modern take on Superman and, like, his early days, but it was really good. And it had a great voice cast with Alexandra Daddario as Lois Lane and Zachary Quinto as Lex Luthor. And someone named Darren Criss played Superman, but I don't know who that is.
I know who Darren Criss is. He's a Vanessa boyfriend.
Oh.
Yep. He looks like one. And Neil Flynn played Jonathan Kent. And there were a bunch of other people. And it was great. And the whole time I was watching it, I was thinking in my mind and also saying out loud to anybody that would listen to me, it was very much what I felt like that Superman Man of Steel movie could have and should have been. Like a great, fresh, modern take. It was smart. It didn't just rely on Superman and Lex Luthor. There's other villains and other other heroes that show up and kind of play a part in it, and it's really great. And like most of the best Supermans, like all the best Superman stories, it is a Superman story where Superman saves the day with his compassion and not by being the best puncher, which is what I think I liked about it the most. So go check that out if you dare.
Did you find it easy to navigate whatever streaming app you were using with your controller?
So it's time for the quest log.
Why is Matt crying?
I don't know. There's just like tears rolling down his cheek.
It's time for the quest log. So you go to the Oakfield area and you find the Temple of Light. Bum, bum, bum.
It's
Have we
not
been here
that
before?
fancy.
I don't remember.
No, it's not
Yeah,
that
it's just
fancy
kind of one
right now.
room.
You know, the Temple of Darkness, a lot fancier, I gotta say. They got a whole castle.
Temple of Shadows is the word you're looking for. Please don't disperse the name of the temple that we worship at. Okay, me and all of my wives.
Vanessa and I will tell you about my trip to the Temple of Shadows later.
Why is Vanessa going to tell me about your trip to
Oh,
the Temple
because
of
I made her
Shadows?
watch.
He did make me watch.
I killed so many people that they gave me their highest honor.
And you got
But
a
we're not going
sword
to talk
that
about
was
that right
slightly
now.
better.
We're saving that.
Okay.
I wrote
Okay.
in the notes, very specifically, I added a side quest corner.
All right. Well, let's look at these notes and get on with it.
Well, so we go to the abbot at the Temple of Light, and before he'll give us this quest that we need to do so that we can get the Hero of Strength, which is our main quest, the abbot tells us we have to go raise our renown, and we have to do that by doing quests and stuff.
Yeah, you just go. This is just do side quest time.
The biggest one is that at this point a quest pops up to go kill some bandits that have taken over an inn in somewhere, Rookridge, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And that one will net you like a whole bunch of renown, and then you kind of have to go clean up around with other side quests to bump it up enough for the abbot to give you the main quest.
Yeah,
I never
I
got
did
that quest.
Oh, I did that one and like the sculptor one.
Yeah, I did the sculptor
You didn't
one.
go the one where you went and fought the bandit? It's so long. Like you
That
have
one's
to
long.
go
You have to chase them all
through-
over the place.
yeah,
Yeah, you have to chase them like down train tracks and like
I didn't
through an
do
inn.
that. I have no idea why it didn't spawn for me.
weird.
I did a bunch of other ones. I did the sculpture one. I did the archaeology one. I think I freed some slaves.
So you build up your renown enough that the abbot will send you on the quest, and he sends you to a cave that's like, you know, a few feet away from the abbey. This world's real close together, you know? Everything's one short trail away. I hope if they do, I know that they announced a Fable 4 recently, and I hope that if they do a Fable 4, they do more of an open world, because this thing feels real small to me.
I bet they will, because now there's the power of the new Xbox. You can.
I would like them to bring the dog back and not have like a mini map with dots on it and just have the dog do everything, because the
Toggle
dog's
the mini
actually
map
great.
off, for heck's sake.
But you could have the dog lead you to the next quest, which would be more fun, I think, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be fun. But I'm thinking more along the lines of like games like The Witcher 3 and Dragon Quest Inquisition, where that just kind of turned into like a mini map covered in items. You know what I mean? Or like icons that you kind of hunt down.
Mhm.
That type of. That's kind of what I'm afraid they would do with the Fable 4. Anyway, you go to this little cave and you start the ritual quest. There's a humongous woman named Hannah. She has red hair and she is a monk.
She's fantastic. She sings a nice little song.
What's the song, Vanessa?
Are you
good
singing
rendition.
It's the End of the World as We Know It by R.E.M.?
No, but I could be.
I really like Hannah. I think she's not like most characters we've ever met in these games. Maybe like, I guess a little bit like that lady from Grandia or that one lady in Suikoden.
She's the abbot's daughter, and she has been raised by this order of monks to be a monk.
Mhm.
So she is a pacifist.
But she is super strong. And like huge. Like she's way taller than you and thick and just super beefy. She's a cool character. I don't know. I really, really like her.
Yeah.
And she
So you go into these caves and you have to do this ritual quest. I'm not quite sure what the purpose of this is. You have to. She has several jugs of water that she has to fill from different fountains inside this cave.
Mhm.
Each one has like a little environmental puzzle. There's monsters in here, and you have to like keep them off of her. She can't fight, so you just have to like kill everything that comes around her and stand on switches for her and stuff.
Yeah, that's one of the big things about her character is like she obviously knows she could be a super powerful warrior, but she's like, oh, but I promised I wouldn't be a warrior, that I would be like a lovely a monk lady, nun or something. And that, I promised I'd never fight. And I really like her because she has this sort of sweet voiceover. Like she's kind of nervous talking the whole time. And it's just a really well-written character. And yeah, she has to carry this enormous jug. She's like, how would normal people do this?
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense. So you do have to fight a bunch of monsters in here. Each room, there's 3 jugs that have to be filled in 3 rooms, and each one has waves of enemies that come in. And the last one, you do have to fight like a hollow man boss, but he not hard.
Yeah.
The combat in this game is pretty easy, right?
Do we-
Like I've yet to like have an issue.
I don't feel like it provides a great explanation for like why you're doing this. It says something about like there's a golden acorn that you have to water with this special
Yeah.
water because there's a golden oak or something,
They,
right?
they talk about it.
Oh yeah.
I think it's this is a parody of a certain promise made by a certain Peter Molyneux.
Oh,
Because,
really?
yeah, they say that there's a golden acorn that's planted once a generation. That is you fill with all the waters from around, and like it has to be blessed holy waters, and then they plant it, and it sort of provides light and goodness to the world. And so it's like the daughter of the abbot has to do it, and it's a super holy ritual. Yeah, someone was talking about it. I can't remember who. Maybe Teresa was telling me in voiceover.
Something like
Yeah,
that.
I'll say this. Another one of the issues I have with the game is that there's not really dialogue so much as just exposition, and it's not even like in a manner where you can like read through it. They just talk at you, and you hold down the button to accept the quest. Like, and I don't like the way any of this stuff is done. Like, it's just kind of menu stuff basically, but like it's all terrible.
I don't know. I like this story, and I like.
No, it's not the story that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the way that it's because it's hard to like follow in the game when it's just like telepathy as you're running through a field chasing a golden
that's
golden bread crumb trail,
or Hannah talking to you as you're going through fighting Hobbs or
I liked that actually. I will say that is one thing. See, now that is one thing that I did enjoy as you do this stuff. Well, I guess it's more later, so we should talk about it then. But I think it does a good job when Hannah's with you of like having her talk to you and it being like engaging versus when Teresa's talking to you as you do stuff, or when you're having dialogue like in like a city or for a mission where you're just standing there.
Yeah,
and someone's
there's something
model
about
is
the way the
just
game makes
mouth
you
move.
stand there for 2 minutes to get the full quest detail, and there's a big button in the center of the screen being like skip it, skip it, skip it. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I want to hear it, but don't just make me stand there and listen to a non-moving character talk for 2 minutes. There's got to be a
tough,
better
and
way.
There's no. Are there even if there may be are there subtitles? Even if there are subtitles, it's not. Just give me a menu that I can read through.
Cut
Anyway,
to the game showing us.
Wait a minute. I'd like to address something that John said.
Okay.
Okay.
Sometimes before you can do something, you have to dream something. You can't bring something new into the world without imagining what the world could be like when you bring it into it. So, well, we haven't yet reached the point where video games have the technology to reflect you planting a tree and that tree growing in the place that you planted it. Someday we will. And I don't think that Peter Molyneux should be put down for dreaming of a time when we can play a video game where we plant a seed and something grows right where that seed was planted.
I don't think anybody's mad at him for dreaming it. They're mad at him for promising it and then not delivering.
Yeah, or I'm more mad at him for doing this game demo where he said that reporters were talking to an interactive AI character, but it was actually someone with a microphone in the other room, and he knew that this technology didn't exist, and he's a con artist and should be in prison.
Listen, sometimes you have a really good idea for a blood test that will, just from one drop of blood, like diagnose 100 different diseases. And just because the technology isn't real, does that mean you shouldn't sell it and market it and get investors in it? I don't think so.
I have this Connect here that I spent real money. No, I knew that. I knew it wasn't going to do what he promised. I knew it was a Molyneux lie. And frankly, Dance Central is great, so I do not regret buying my Connect. I still want to play that Star Wars game too.
Fable 4.
Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I was talking about how we should cut to footage of the game making us listen to an NPC talk for 2 minutes to get quest details in black and white with a red X over it, and then cut to Vanessa and I going, "There's got to be a better way."
Okay.
I don't understand that reference.
Infomercials.
Well, I know what
Just
an
kind of making fun of
infomercial is.
infomercials in general.
Well, that there's got to be a better way. And then, then me opening a cabinet and all the Tupperware falls out on me and I'm like juggling it and then falling over.
Okay, I'm starting to get into this.
Have you ever seen that supercut of people in infomercials like dropping shit and breaking shit in the least convincing way possible?
Yeah, it's amazing.
I'm gonna see if I can dig that up and send it to everybody. Hey, so we did do some fighting, and Hannah did. Have we talked about it at all? We did fight the boss, and then one of the monks runs in and is like, the temple's under attack, your father. And Hannah does rip like a column off of the ground or something.
It's pretty rad.
And does kill a bunch of monsters and go running off to save her father. And she breaks her vow and does do a lot of smashing.
Yeah. There was
when you show up, there's a guy there. I can't remember his name, but he's one of the villains, and he's an assassin, and he does kill the abbot, Hannah's father. And does she is there a glitch where she hits the bad guy with her dead father, I think?
What?
Oh, that didn't happen to me.
That did not happen to me.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you're talking about there. I thought this was weird because it artificially slows down your character. Like, you can't run as you're walking towards the temple and hearing her being like, put the gun down. And he's like, no. And it's like, you should be able to, have an option to shoot the guy, right? Like, at least.
Yeah, you should be able to save him.
Or if not save him, at least, give you not slow you down for no reason.
Yeah.
I did, the
That's
voice.
right, it does drag it out when you're making your way to the temple where you're hearing her scream and be like, don't kill my father. And you can't run fast enough. It's real terrible.
Yeah, they could have done anything, have characters holding you back or something, or fights that you can't get out of, instead of just make you walk slowly. I did really like the voice filter they put on the assassin. It was a really spooky one that you don't hear a lot. It's sort of a modulation where he sort of sounds like this, but it's really cool. What's wrong? You don't like that? Is it too close to my kink lover? What's his face? Sam Elliott?
Nope. Sam Elliott?
Close.
No,
You kinda had a
we've
little drawl at the beginning.
established Sam Neill is the kink shamer.
Yeah, me and Sam Neill. So you fail to save her father, and her father does die, and Hannah does decide to break her vow and leave the temple that she has grown up in. Teresa convinces her to come and join her crazy cult of heroes. Cool.
Well, what
Cool,
would
cool, cool,
Teresa
cool,
have
cool.
done if Lucian had not tried to assassinate her father at that moment? Because
Well, and
presumably
why-
she wouldn't come. She wouldn't have a motivation to.
Why would
Does anybody else feel like this is Jim playing spoiler corner and thinking?
No,
that's,
it's not. I'm not. I'm
Yeah, you are.
asking because
Don't
Do
lie.
you think? Okay, there's two things. One, what motivation does Lucian have to kill the abbot? Because that doesn't seem to affect his quest for the Spire. The abbot's just growing acorns. Two, what if? Here's some headcanon here. What if it wasn't Lucian that sent these assassins? What if it was Teresa?
Huh.
That's
Huh?
sort of what I thought because
I guess we'll take that and put it in the parking lot.
well,
and we
when
can
you're
address
going
it
into
time.
the cave, Teresa's like, "Oh yeah, this chick won't fight. We're gonna have to find something to motivate her." And then it's like, Teresa, did you send assassins to slaughter her father in front of her? And she's like, no.
I would never do that. I'm a naughty
Teresa.
little girl.
Teresa.
Anyway, so Hannah decides that she's going to join you and become the hero of strength, and she says, "Call me Hammer."
Yeah.
And it's really cheesy.
But it was a good moment, I thought. I don't know. I think I just really, really like Hannah. So don't mind me.
So the next thing up starts kind of the other quest for this chunker. So before and it is a little bit longer, but before we get into that, I thought maybe we could talk a bit about some of the side stuff that we did here. Because I did some real nonsense up in the Temple of Shadows.
What kind of nonsense?
Well, so in the Temple of Shadows, they have a wheel that you can bring people to and pull a lever, and it'll decide how it's going to kill them. And you sacrifice them to the dark gods, and you can do this with several people at a time. And if you do it a whole bunch, you get loyalty points. And if you get enough points, you get a cool sword. So I did sacrifice maybe like 60 people. No, it was probably more like 30 or 40.
What's the best
I did bring them in
Wheel
by
of
the
Death?
handful.
Death.
There were some fun ones. Some of them don't even kill them, actually. So one of them impales them all. One of them burns them all. One of them shocks them all. One of them turns them all into chickens. One of them turns them all into, like, creepy black ghosts, like flat black ghosts that then vanish. And one of them just turns all the men into women and all the women into men.
Are they okay with it?
Sometimes.
Okay, well, that's good.
Sometimes they're pretty okay with it. You can also sacrifice your wife. So I did that. I was messing around in Bower Stone Market, and a woman had a red heart above her head. The jewelry vendor.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went to talk to her, and I decided to buy a ring from her and to propose on the spot. It was true love. We went back to my home tent or like wagon that I live in. And we did tie the knot there, and there was a beautiful cutscene. And then that night, I did lead her to the Temple of Shadows. And
Wait.
I did sacrifice her.
You didn't even make love
and
to
get
her?
Impaled. I did not.
Oh.
I did impale her. And then I got 2,000 loyalty points, and it was like, you need to sacrifice your wife here at midnight. And I was like, uh-oh. So I said to myself, why don't you just go back to Bowerstone Market and see what you can see? And lo and behold, there was a new jewelry vendor, and she did look the exact same. I think she may have had the same name. So I choose to believe that it was the same woman. And I did propose to her again, and she did marry me again, and it was a beautiful ceremony again. And then I did take her back to the Temple of Shadows on the night that we wed again. And I did sacrifice her again. And I got a cool sword.
Now,
That honestly wasn't much better than the one I already had.
well, I did. Did anyone do the Normonomicon quest?
I did.
Oh, I
Me
did.
too.
I love that quest. It is very silly. There are these two brothers. I think
Tell us about it. I mean, I didn't. I don't know what it is. Tell me.
there's two brothers, and I feel like wasn't there two brothers who did a similar thing in Fable 1?
Oh, I can't remember that. Are you kidding? That was years ago we recorded that.
That was 2018, 10 years ago. Yeah, so it's about these brothers who found a book called the Normonomicon, and they did bring it to the graveyard, and they did read some passages from it, and it did bring back lots and lots of the dead. They didn't exactly know what they're doing. They just said some Latin words and thought it was fun. So you do have to kill literally 100 undeads to get through to the book, and then you have to find the book. I think, and just keep it away from them because you don't trust them with the book.
Don't you
But,
give it back to them? or
Oh, do you?
keep it?
I think you do give it back in the end,
Yeah.
which seems like a bad idea.
I'm sure
Oh.
they won't do anything with it.
But I really like this quest because killing this introduces the undead, who you also fight in the chamber or that cave.
The golden
Hollow Men.
acorns thing.
Yeah, I like fighting the Hollow Men because they like smash in a really satisfying manner.
They
And when
really
you kill
do.
Yeah,
them,
they do.
a spooky skull ghost comes out of them.
Mm-hmm.
And you can like sweep. Like I always use big hammers and stuff. So when you do like big sweeps, it kills 5 at a time, and it's just fun. I really, really like fighting them. It's very satisfying. So yeah, I did that quest, and I also did more statue quests. I did some fun poses like flexing and blowing a kiss, and those are my side quests. Jim, what about you?
Well, I did the Normonomicon one, and I went and did a lot of the slave rescue quests
Mm-hmm.
that you can get in Bowerstone Market. And like I said earlier, I did the sculpting quest where you pose for the sculptor. And then that's kind of all that I can remember. What about you, Vanessa?
I also did all of these quests. I rescued some slaves. Yeah, that's what I did.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. bought some property. That's not really a quest.
Oh,
but,
I did that too.
Yeah, I tried to buy up a whole bunch of stalls.
I did.
So you're gonna get money really fast.
I did this like 15 or 20 times where I had a couple like rare gems in my possession, like diamonds and amethysts and rubies and stuff. So what I did was I sold them to the jeweler in Bowerstone Market, and then I bought the jewelry stand and no, I bought all of her stuff, then I bought the jewelry stand, and then I jacked up the prices, and then I sold them to her. I sold them back to her, and then because I had a discount because I own the shop, I then bought them back and then sold the shop, and then did that over and over again until it netted me like I don't know, like 200,000 gold or something like that.
Wow.
Oh wow.
You know, that's what those investment companies there that buy up businesses seem to do.
Yeah.
Oh, I did
It works.
one other thing. I remember. I got married.
What?
I was walking along wearing my full monk outfit that I bought in Oakville. I was walking towards the Temple of Light, and I saw this man on the side of the road, and he had like a grayed out gift box over his head, which generally means that the villager will give you something if you reach certain criteria. So I checked out his criteria, and what he wanted was for me to be very funny, and then he would give me a present. So I tried farting for him, and he hated it. He was like, no, this is disgusting. And I was like, okay, I agree. So it took a really long time to do like dancing and failing. And essentially you just have to fail a bunch of emotes and they'll think it's funny. And it sort of like creeped up the funniness up and up and up till he finally gave me a gift. And at that point, he also was starting to be into me. So I said, Leonard, bisexual, prudish monk who loves the Temple of Light and silken tofu, I want you to be my identical tiny husband because we dress exactly the same. But he's much smaller than me. So he agreed. First, I bought a home in Oakvale, but then right after that, I found a demon door that was like, I'm sad. My true love is gone. I want to see a true love's kiss between sworn lovers. So I hauled my husband out of our little home. He did knock me up the very first night. So we do have a daughter now as well. And I hauled him to the demon door and I blew him a kiss right into his face. And the demon door was like, hooray. And it opened itself up and there's a house back there that you can have for free to live with your spouse in. And it also has a pretty good hammer weapon called the Hammerthist, and it's a hammer made of amethyst.
And it also it gives you a big defense boost.
Yeah, it gives you a defense boost, but if you are knocked out, you get like twice the number of scars or something.
Oh, okay.
So now we live in Serenity Farm, which is convenient because you can quick travel right to it. And your spouse will just kind of always stay there, I think. So you always know where your family is.
What is your spouse's allowance?
I think I put his allowance... At first I put it at like 100, and then I like looked at his stats in the menu, and it's like, he wants 20 gold for like to be happy with his allowance. And I'm like, well, I am way overdoing it then. So I put it at like 35. And he seems fine.
Huh.
He is prudish. Like, that's one of his traits.
What does that mean?
I don't know, because it does not seem to stop him. Every time I see him, he's like, hey.
We'll talk about my husband later.
Yeah.
Because he's the opposite.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so back at the Chamber of Fate, Teresa tells us that she's figured out who the hero of Will is. His name is Garth, and he lives in Brightwood Tower, and we have to go get him.
That famous
Apparently,
high fantasy
he showed up
name,
early in the game,
Garth.
but I don't remember seeing him.
I remember it was when we were little kids walking through the castle, and we see this guy like all in
right.
armor walk past us. And the butler is like, Sir Garth, and Garth doesn't say anything because he's like Batman or something.
And he has like electricity coming out of his hands.
You have electricity coming out of your hands.
So, I got a little fuzzy here. We head to Brightwood Tower to find Garth, and there are a bunch of Spire guards there. And we do have to, like, fight them, and it's a whole thing.
And they capture Garth.
Yeah, you fight your way up Brightwood Tower, and when you get to the top, the Commandant, Lucian's commander,
is the Commandant the one who killed the abbot?
I think so.
No,
I don't think his voice sounds the same.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think so too.
The Commandant kidnaps Garth, and there's like a shard there, which is like a thing that's floating in the air.
Those are
and
really
Teresa talks
cool.
about it.
It's like a chunk of the Spire.
Yeah, it's like this big polygon where like a 8-sided dice that like floats and crackles with electricity. I really like the design of those.
Okay.
You don't think they're cool? I think they're cool.
No, they're fine. And so she tells you that you have to come back to the guild, and now we are given the choice to do 2 quests. They are Comfort Farmer or Red Harvest.
I didn't do either of these.
What?
That wasn't a quest thing I got.
Did Jim and Vanessa know what I'm talking about?
I did something for one farmer.
I did something for a farmer earlier.
So yeah, this is one of the side quests. So you can either like help this farmer out because he's being like raided by raiders constantly, bandits, or you can help out the bandits and help them take the farm. I think.
Yeah, this farmer, he want revenge because his son was killed by this particular bandit. So he's like, you go fight this bandit and then let me kill him. So I went and fought the bandit. And then the bandit was like, kill me. And I was like, no, thank you. And then the farmer comes along and he's like, hey, time for my revenge. And bandit's like, oh, yeah, fine. Send me to jail. I don't care. And farmer's like, I'll send you to hell. But then he stops his sickle mid-swing and he's like, oh, this isn't what my son would have wanted. I will take you to jail and I'll make sure you hang.
Yeah.
Bum, bum, bum.
Because he was like a former guard before he was a farmer.
Yeah, then he took an arrow to the knee.
Right, exactly.
I did the Red Harvest quest, so I did go join the bandits and attack the farm. We killed all the guards, and then I did kill the farmer.
Well, that's great.
Yay.
Yeah? Uh-huh. Porky's telling you about what she did.
Nobody asked her.
We head back to the Chamber of Fate, and Teresa tells us that we need to go find Jeeves, who is Lucian's former butler, because Jeeves will have info on Lucian and where he is and maybe what he is doing with the people that he's kidnapping.
We need to ask Jeeves.
Oh my god. So you do hunt down Lucian and he offers to give you the journal for 1,000 gold, and you don't really have a choice, you have to pay up. He doesn't give you the journal, he gives you a note that tells you where the journal is. You can kill him and immediately get the gold back, but I was not sneaky enough and did get fined 500 gold. So I was out. 500 gold.
I do like, if you listen to him, he's all sort of talking to all these people who also want details about Lucian, and he's planning what he's going to do with all the money. I really like some of the like just incidental dialogue, like as you do your quests, is really fun in this game.
Yeah, that's very true. That is very true. There's a lot of fun, like weird lines and stuff. People are always like talking. The game does a great job of feeling pretty alive at times.
And unlike stuff like Skyrim, you actually want to hear what people say because it's fun and not just like, oh, in the cliffs of Westgard, I did slay a troll.
So, I killed Jeeves, and you go to where he has hid the diary. You have to dig it up. It's a dig spot for the dog. Mm-hmm. And but a forest troll attacks you, and you have to do a big fight with the dumb forest troll. Which is not hard, but is annoying.
Do you always have to shoot the little maggoty things on it?
Seems like it. Seems like you always with the trolls. It seems like it's like a Zelda boss type thing, like a really poorly done Zelda boss.
It's
where you shoot
it's
little
the
knobs.
worst because if you haven't put any points into like accuracy, you fucking just won't hit this thing. It takes so long, and it sucks. And
I
there's
mean, you can hit it with willpowers too.
Yeah.
It's not just the gun.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
area of effect willpower spells are really good, actually, if you get in super close, because then you can hit multiple
But then he
of
does
them.
his like troll butt bump.
Yeah, he does
and then-
troll you.
Yeah.
And he's like, lol, and that face comes down.
Ugh. Hate that face.
It's terrible. So you dig up the diary, but you can't read it. You have to take it back to Teresa. So you have to go back to the Chamber of Fate for like the 15th fucking time. This game has a lot of going back to the Chamber of Fate.
Mm-hmm.
What's with that treasure chest in the Chamber of Fate that says visit fable2.com for more info on how to open this?
I
Oh, yeah,
tried
fuck
to,
that.
and that website is not like valid anymore.
Yeah, it's not a valid website anymore.
What a piece of shit.
I do like every time you go back, it's basically Hammers complaining about wanting to do stuff, and Teresa's like, just kind of ignores her. She's like, "Oh, I get to stay here with the bundle of laughs
Yeah.
while you go have fun."
So Teresa translates the diary, and Lucien is recruiting guards from the Crucible
Mm-hmm.
for the Spire. And since that is where we've assumed, I guess, or maybe Teresa's learned that Lucien has taken Garth to the Spire. So we are going to become a guard and go save Garth. And in order to do that, we have to go fight in the Crucible.
And now I'm 100% sure we did this in Fable 1 now.
Yes, yes. Yes, we did.
And somehow this one's worse.
I hate the stupid
Yeah.
Crucible.
I didn't find this difficult or bad at all, really. It's just like 7 rooms full of monsters that you have to kill.
Yeah.
It just
the-
takes a long time.
It doesn't.
They give you lots of potions, and there's an awesome... Oh, well, before we talk about it, maybe we should talk about getting there, because there's a lot of shit first.
Oh, yeah.
You have to go...
You have to take
to
the
go to
West Cliff
Westcliff.
Road through the Bandit Coast and then into the Howling Halls and then down to the West Cliff camp.
Now
Yeah,
there's
so basically you have to walk to West Cliff, and there's a lot of shit in the way.
There's
it takes
a couple
long
of
time.
Things that I like there. Like on the way, you find this demon door. It's like, oh, don't bother me. You don't want to know what I need. And if you like listen to him whine for a couple of minutes, he's finally like, okay, look, I just want cheese. Just give me cheese, and I'll open for you. I didn't have any cheese on me, so I have to go back.
Yeah, he's
Oh.
embarrassed, though.
Yep. But he really wants cheese, which I understand. Cheese is great.
I haven't done a lot of these demon doors. Maybe I should. I'm kind of at a stopping point in the game myself, actually, and was kind of bored and wondering what I should do next.
Well, Demon
Anyway,
Doors is one of my favorite Gorilla albums.
Let's Demon
Yeah,
Days.
it's a really good album, actually. I've been listening to the Gorillas like best of on Spotify a lot lately.
So there's also
They released a new album and it's pretty good, but then they put the entire new album in their best of, which is something that bands do that I hate.
Oh, yeah.
So you know how post-apocalyptic games have the quest line where someone like invites you to their house and they have lots of food, and then it's supposed to be like a big surprise where they turn out to be
It's
cannibals.
never a surprise. Let it go.
This one has the fantasy version of that trope where it's a lady's like, "Oh, my children, they've been abducted by Valverines down this deep dark cavern. Why don't you help me meet my children, find my children?" And it was very obvious where this one was going, where she like
Yeah.
takes you through. You have to like fight a million Balverines and then go through this winding, like super long dungeon. And surprise, Vanessa, what's her secret?
Her secret is the children are
She's a vampire.
Valverines.
Whoa, what?
Matt, why are you surprised you played this game?
Jim told me that he really liked the Howling Halls, so we go down the Bandit Coast and we do fight a million bandits, but you know what we didn't mention?
Howling Halls.
Hammer comes with us.
What are Balverines, Jim?
Doesn't Hammer come
They're
with us here?
werewolves, right?
No, she where does she meet
She
up with
does
you?
come with us. She meets us
Yeah,
at
she's
the
there.
start of the Bandit Road.
Yeah, she
that's
complains
right.
about how many fucking bandits you fought, and it's pretty hilarious because I was also like, yeah, good point, Hammer. Fuck.
Well, at first she's
fight a
excited. She's
lot of
like,
fucking
this must be
bandits.
what you do every day, but for me, it's so exciting. And then it keeps happening, and she's like, okay.
So, Jim,
Yeah.
what a Balverine?
It's like a werewolf.
I'm not sure about that. I think a Balverine is when you're like in the woods or in the forest and maybe you get a little bit lost and you're with your friend and your friend falls down or something happens where the friend doesn't quite make it and you're so hungry and so you think maybe I'll just a little bite, just a little nibble
That's
of this little friend.
Not a
and
Balverine.
Then you give in to your instinct for cannibalism, and that's how you become a Wendigo. Oh, wait, you're right. That's Wendigo.
That is a Wendigo. I guess that maybe they are. Are they just Wendigos?
No.
Apparently.
I don't think they turn back into humans, though. They're definitely
They're just
humans
like permanent werewolves.
that turn into these monsters. But yeah, I think they're perma-were.
Oh, yeah. Was there a quest in the first one about this guy whose wife became a Balverine?
I
Wasn't
think
there?
Yeah.
so.
That was a whole thing. We went to the town.
Yeah,
the town was under attack by a
that's
white
right.
Balverine, and it turned out to be like the
husband.
for the last leader. He was like the leader of the town, and he vanished. And yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah, I remember
So,
that.
Anyway, yeah, we go through the Howling Halls. We do fight the Balverines. The Balverines are pretty easy and fun, actually.
Lady surprisingly turns into Mama Balverine. It's like, my children, attack! It's
I
great.
like that the Balverines stick to a very specific like AI pattern where you hit them 3 times, they jump up in the air. If you're fast enough, you can spin around and quickly hit them again like as they're landing, and then they die. They're like the easiest enemy in the entire game.
I use time hop a lot, where you just teleport yourself behind them and then smack them from behind, and they're just like, oh.
Yeah, I'm not. So Vanessa helped me figure out how. I didn't understand how the spell level thing worked and how to like map different spells. But Vanessa showed me how that works. So basically, like, so now I have it. If I tap B, I get the time thing because that's like the most useful. And then if I hold it down, I get the Inferno. And then if I hold it down longer, I get Chaos.
Yeah, it's essentially the longer you hold it down, the more it charges, and you can use all the same spell so that like you get just a stronger version of Fireball each charge, or you can change it to like I want level 1 Fireball, level 2 time, level 3 whatever.
Yeah, I have time set as my highest one, and I like to stop time at the beginning of a fight and kill everything before they know that I was there. It's pretty great, actually. You can kill an entire group of people and then have plenty of time to charge up and cast it again before you go kill the next group of people.
That does sound good too. Maybe I'll try it
fucking
that way
crazy.
next time.
Use that flourish thing where like I just walk up to each enemy and like just do a quick flourish on them, and it one hits a lot of stuff. A lot of guys.
I just got the 3-hit combo
you can
too,
do, like,
which is great.
With like level 4 time, you can pull off like fucking 10 flourishes before time starts up again.
That's
like you can
great.
kill an entire army. It's hilarious.
I like how broken this game is.
So you do, I guess you can do the Defender of Light or the Oakfield Massacre quest here, but maybe that'd be better to talk about after.
Yeah, talk about it after we do the Crooshible.
I got it.
Yeah.
So we make it all the way to Westcliff Camp, and that is where the Crucible is. It is an arena. It does the whole thing where the dog and Hammer stay behind. It takes all your no, it doesn't take all your items and stuff, but you don't have the dog, and you do go into an arena, and each level of the Crucible is like a different environment. Like they're all recognizable from different areas around Albion. You'll teleport, and each one is like, you get like a Hob room and a Haunt room and a Balverine room, and I don't remember what they all were.
Bandits, which are really
The
annoying.
bandit, there's the bandit one where there's like bandit archers around the perimeter of the room. When you come back, like, because you can do the Crucible again, later, and it's like a timed thing where you have like a time, not a time limit, but a time goal for each one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you get a time goal in this one. It tells you if you get 5 perfects, you'll win the prize. I only got 3.
Yeah, that's
really
like
bummed.
the one with the bandits around the perimeter is so fucking annoying because like
Why, you just step on
Yeah,
those
step
switches
on
and
that
it
pressure
blows them
plate,
all off.
and it kills them all with fire. Because they're all
Does it kill-
standing next
Does
to
it, does it
flamethrowers.
actually kill them all?
I did
Yeah,
this one
yeah,
in
it
like
does.
50 fucking seconds because it literally knocks them all off
I'm
into
gonna
the
have
pit
to
and
try
they
that.
die.
I don't know that worked for me. But
There's
I'll try
4
it again.
pressure plates for each side of the room, but they're all right next to each other, so you can just walk in a circle and knock them all off.
At this point,
It's
that's
crazy.
the only one that I can't get a perfect on. But
Wow.
I'll go back and try it.
What a fancy boy.
So I had a fun experience
brag.
at the Crucible. In Westcliff, there is a great weapon vendor that has all the way up to like master weapons. So I did go and I upgraded all my weapons and stuff. I bought a bunch of stuff. There was like a food trader, and I bought some pies off of him because I thought it would be funny if I got chunky like John did. And so I did go through the Crucible, and so you know when you're fighting and your health is low, it'll give you a button prompt to hit like the right diagonal button to use a healing item, and usually it's a potion, but mine loaded up with a bunch of pies. So the few times in like the fights when I had to heal quick, I would end up using a pie, and I would get a little fatter. And by the time I got through the final level of the Crucible, I was as fat as you can get, and it stopped me mid-fight in the Crucible to tell me, you can go to the town crier and get Salad Dodger title for free because you've gotten so fat.
Matt, where did this take place?
Yeah, what location?
During the Crucible.
Thanks, Matt.
Is there a way to, speaking of the Crucible and the pie eating, is there a way to assign like spells or food to those like D-pad keys?
I thought there was, but I can't figure out how to do it this time.
I don't know how to do it, and it's really annoying.
Speaking
There
of
must be a
annoying,
way.
after you're done with the Crucible, well, after you do each like Crucible fight, then the audience will throw down gold depending on how entertaining you are.
Yeah, I definitely did pretty well in the Crucible. I think I got so much extra gold.
I think that the way to get a high Crucible entertainment value is to mix up your attacks. So you do like
You guys are being really mean. It's not fun. Why are you bullying me? Sorry that I don't fucking talk good for you.
we're just talking about the Crucible.
You're just a bully.
You do eat a lot of Lunchables in your Crucible?
You're me. I'm gonna go to the Crucible.
We all agreed never make fun of someone if they mispronounce a word that they've only seen written before, because that just shows that you're a good reader and maybe didn't grow up around people with large or varied vocabularies. However, in this case, the game does say Crucible out loud several times.
Anyway, let's stop bullying Matt.
Yeah.
So it happens after the Crucible.
So after I finish the Crucible, you can Oh, did anyone have like? I really liked West. What's it called? Westcliff? Because it's like a bandit
Westcliff
town
Camp.
full of
Yeah, the
shirtless
Westcliff
bears.
Westcliff
Yeah.
sucks. Like, you get there and there are these two idiots and they just start nagging you right away. And
But what? They're super dumb.
they're super
It's
dumb.
like being.
They were mocking Hannah and I. They were implying that we were in a physical relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't cool.
Mm-hmm. Like, oh, you simp on Hammer, don't ya? And yeah, those, and then there's also, normally I don't like announcers in fantasy or sci-fi things that talk like current modern day sports announcers, but the two announcers for the Crucible are pretty funny. I quite like them. What do you think of them, Vanessa?
Yeah, they're funny. Fable is such an anachronistic game anyway that it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, it's not like this is pod racing.
Now that's
Yeah.
what
Announcers.
I call Crucible.
Stupid Greg Proops.
I feel like
Ruining the movie.
this game could have benefited from like going like even sillier, and like you drop in like Drop in like some boner boings if you're if you're like when you're doing the thrust thing. Like give me more like cartoony sound effects. I think this game could have benefited
I do
from
like
that.
how you can like. I do kind of like the emote system in this game. Like it is kind of more fun than like a dialogue tree.
Yep. Although I didn't realize till Vanessa. Well, actually, we can talk about this. Why don't we talk about these side quests? Because Teresa's like, okay, now you can go to the Spire, but before you do that, you should really finish every side quest and say goodbye to your family because things are going to happen.
Yeah. Well, the reason we can go to the Spire is we have been recruited into Lucian's army.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you get a lot of gold and renown from the Crooshible, and
The Lunchable.
And you know it was crazy? You get so much XP out of the Crooshible that you level up everything like a million times. Like I walked out of it fatter but also beefier. It was pretty fun. So you're super tough now. You really do gain several, like it's like gaining several levels. I gained spell levels, I gained strength, I gained speed. Yeah, you go and you have to do these side quests, and you get a choice here again. You can do the Defender of Light quest or the Oakfield Massacre quest, because the Temple of Shadows has decided to attack the Temple of Light. Bum, bum, bum.
Why would you want to do the Oakfield Massacre? Because, like, I bought up all the property in Oakfield, and it's making me a lot of money.
It's not great to do. It doesn't feel good. I did not like it. I did it for the evil points.
Mm-hmm. And the Defender of Light quest
everyone
is
in town.
Pretty fun because
you can break down doors and like murder people. It's crazy. I didn't love it. Like I was kind of like,
does this game have child killing?
All these games do the same thing where it's like, we'll let you play the evil path, but we're going to make it awful.
Yeah.
I don't think it has child killing.
Okay. No, there's no kids.
There's
no kids running around.
I mean,
there are kids in other.
Game, but...
Yeah,
definitely.
There are. Definitely, I did lead mothers away from their children to go sacrifice them at the Temple of Shadows.
Yeah, but you like orphans.
He does not.
Just trying to make more of me.
Orphans all the
You're
time.
right.
Oh, but my hero likes orphans because he is an orphan.
So.
He likes creating orphans. That's why they call him Orphan Maker.
So the Defender of Light quest, this is sort of where you pick sides. Either you're going to help out the Temple of Shadows or the Temple of Light. I did do the Defender of Light quest, which sucks because it locked me out of doing a super fun thing later. So in the Defender of Light quest, they say that the Temple of Shadows is attacking that Acorn Cave. So you have to go back to the Acorn Cave, and each room is full of bandits who have been hired by the Temple of Shadows, and also like a Temple of Shadows guy who you kill in each room. And they keep talking about their leader. I forget he had a very silly name, like Crispin Glover or something.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, this was really silly.
Yeah,
I don't remember his name either.
It's Crispin Glover. Yeah. So you go through a couple of rooms.
The creepiest villain of them all.
Yeah, exactly. You go through these rooms, fight through some bandits, and like after you clear out the bandits, you can kill the temple guys, and they always take one hit. They're just super weak. But in the last room, Crispin Glover's like, "You'll never defeat me," and he's surrounded by an invincibility spell. Because he's like casting some super mega magic, and you take care of all the bandits in that room, and then he's like, "I will now harness the power of the Xbox to become the ultimate evil." And Crispin Glover turns into like a super demonic bad guy, and you hit him in like 3 hits, he dies.
Yeah, I thought my game glitched out because I was standing like across the room from him, and he was like, "Now you'll get it," and I pulled out my gun and I shot him 3 times and he died. And I was like, well, that's it for you.
But then Vanessa watched
about?
me do it and the same thing happened. So
is that part of the Defender of the Light side?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So then after that, I'd been trying to romance this guy called Warren, who is an aristocrat. He's a chunky aristocrat who lives near Fairfax Castle. and he's always there, and he loves me. Like, he's obsessed with me, but I couldn't get him to marry me until I got him, like, the most expensive ring, because he's very demanding and wants the best of everything.
Well, he deserves it, and he knows it, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, I decided to romance him, and I got him the bestest ring after bribing him with his favorite gems, and then I took him. He wanted to go by the Bloodstone Tower, because there's a garden there that's his favorite place, and I proposed to him there, and he's like, "Here in the garden, my favorite place. Oh, I love you." Yes. Oh, do find me the best house. So then I took him to the demon door. The demon was a little sad that I proposed elsewhere because the demon door wanted me to propose in front of him. But he's like, well, just kiss. That's almost as good. So I did that. And he led me to Serenity Farm. And Warren's like, oh, this is our new hovel. Lovely. And then I was trying to make love to him. And I was like, okay, follow, go to bed, hit A on bed, and sleep for 6 hours. And then nothing happened. And then Vanessa's like, okay, you got to get him in the mood. You got to butter him up. And then I was trying different things. And then he's like, oh, I was reading this erotic novel I bought. How about we do everything in chapter 16? And I was like, okay, go. Hit bed, hit A, sleep for 6 hours, and nothing happened. And then Vanessa's like, no, you're supposed to give him the thumbs up in order to initiate.
You have to give affirmative consent.
Well, he never propositioned me again. I went and bought like super expensive clothes. I bought all the diamonds and jewels. He never wanted to do it again. So then I was like, okay, well, how about I lead you to my special place? So I went to the Temple of Shadows, and I did lead him downstairs, and I was like, Vanessa, you got to watch this. I'm going to end my relationship.
He slid into my DMs, and he's like, you have to come watch my Twitter right now to see my divorce.
Mm-hmm. And so I did take him to the basement of the Temple of Shadows. And
you can just get a divorce in this game.
Yeah. At the Temple of Shadows, except
the Temple of Shadows is the only place that does divorces.
Except that Matt, because I did the Defender of Light quest, the Temple of Shadows was empty, and there was no one to divorce Warren. So like I was trying for 5 minutes, and Vanessa's like, "Love wins, John. You two are going to be together forever." I was like, consider this a divorce, and I just cleavered the guy.
Oh, John.
He did, right in front of my innocent eyes. Now, to be fair, John's husband was terrible. He was talking about, oh, did you hear someone freed the slaves? Who's going to draw my bath now?
Wow.
Yeah, he sucked. So I think this is kind of a Homelander homage, I guess. My new idea is that I'm going to be like the big hero that does all the good things and saves everybody, but is also secretly a serial killer and will kill like husband after husband. So that is how I'm going to play the rest of this game. I will try to find if anyone has any suggestions for different ways to end relationships, wink. Let me know if is there poison or anything?
I don't know. I doubt it.
No. Can I push them off cliffs?
Maybe.
Drown them?
Maybe
It'd be
with,
cool
like,
if you could
force
stick the dog
push.
on him.
Oh,
God.
Tim.
I would never corrupt my puppy.
Quick aside, there is a quest in, I don't remember where it is. I think it's in Westcliff. A guy that wants 5,000 gold, and if you give it to him, something's going to happen.
Yeah, he says he's going to build like a family amusement park in the middle of this horrible bandit city.
Mhm. He's the Walt Disney of Albion.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to the resolution of the, and that's Barnum, who you might remember was the photographer with the 3-month developing photo system when you were a kid.
Oh.
So you meet Hammer at the docks at Westfield Camp, and you get on a boat. You leave the dog behind. You leave all your possessions behind. You get on a boat to go to the Spire, and it does sail across the sea, and there is like a cutscene where it sails into the Spire on like a very narrow canal.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of neat.
It's a cool scene.
Yeah, it is. And that's it for this chunker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Any bullshit
That's
mini
it.
games we want to talk about?
I did do one of the bar games. It was called, I forget, it was like Triangle Champion or something. It was basically slot machine.
Yeah.
And it
I did that
sucked.
one where
Spinner box.
like it's spinner box,
Yes.
yes. I didn't understand. It was just like like John said, just slot machine. It's a game of chance, not of skill.
Yeah, I know there's some better games, but every game master I found wants to play stupid spinner box.
There's one I found that I liked a lot where it's kind of like a solitaire setup where you bet a certain amount of money and then the person turns over different rows of cards and you have to like decide when to stop or when to keep going, because if you get like
cool.
a pair of cards it will kill the game unless it's under certain circumstances. So it's like you can, if you uncover a whole like 8 rows, you get a big payout. But the smart move is to, like, anytime you're ahead, even by 1 or 2 gold, just take the payout and then keep
Right.
playing and building up your fortune that way.
As we've mentioned before, Vanessa does have a gambling problem.
I have
and does have like
serious gambling problem.
she has a system. Sorry, a system, not a problem.
Yeah, that's right. It's a system. I'm going to write a book about it, and it's going to pay off any moment now.
Vanessa, can I ask you a question?
Yes,
In Assassin's Creed Valhalla, have you played Orlog yet?
I have.
Orlog is, in my opinion, it's one of my favorite in-game mini games, like maybe ever. It's addictive. I can't stop playing it. I want to play Orlog.
Yeah,
all
I
the
keep
time.
playing it a lot. I've only found the one guy to play with, and he won't play for money. So I'm like, I just need to keep exploring and find more people to play Orlog with.
Yeah, I've only played it with 2 people, and neither of them have played for money yet. But the game is super, super, super fun.
I've also tried the drinking game, and I'm very bad at it. I cannot win.
I've only done that once. And
Is that the
like,
bartender game or is it a different game?
What's that?
Is it the bartender game or a different game? Oh, you're talking about.
We're talking about Assassin's Creed. Yeah, sorry.
Right. I did play the bartender game.
That
the
one is
minigame.
so slow paced. Like these are so easy, but that one is just like compared to the blacksmithing one is so slow.
But
It's heckin' raunchy, though.
yeah, it's like lovely head. Ooh, can't wait to gulp down that one. I want your penis in my mouth.
Doesn't say that.
No. But Vanessa finds, because Vanessa was watching me do all these job mini games, and she's like, I think that they're this horny on purpose.
Yeah, they're definitely that horny on purpose.
So I did, yeah, the pouring beer one's the easiest. It's a little slower than the other ones, but it's like you can like I got up to a 13 or 14 time multiplier on it. So I think it might be the best way to make money.
If you want
I
to do
was
it,
gonna
just
tell you
put
guys,
on a
too.
podcast.
I was going to tell you guys too. I mentioned this, I think once last night when we were trying to get that stream to work. But if you go to Brightwood Tower, like where Garth was, where Garth got captured, that like Cullis gate that's in the tower. There's a wall that's off to the side of it that's got like a break in it. If you go to that break in the wall and jump off, you'll go to this dungeon called Archon's Knot that's just like a couple of puzzles, and at the end of it is that like super powerful sword, the Daichi.
Oh, because I found another secret dungeon there, but it sucked. I thought that was the one you're talking about that didn't have a sword in it. That's in the water next to the tower. There's another
Yes,
dungeon.
yeah.
I
So
looked
if,
up
you,
that
so if you jump into
sword.
the water and you go through, you'll like end up in that Archon's Knot dungeon.
Oh,
The sword is in a so like at the very end of it when you go back outside, like immediately to your right is a chest, and that's where the sword is.
I'll have to try that again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so other than that, I did buy up a lot of property, which has been fun. I really like buying up property in this game. I don't know why. I don't like decorating. I find it's not
No,
as
me
like
neither.
satisfying as Fallout. Vanessa, did you do any decor stuff? I know you like those in other
I
games.
just haven't like amassed the same amount of gold that you guys seem to have.
Yeah. Same.
Maybe
Just
it's
put on a
because, like-
podcast and do your jobs.
Okay.
One thing that I did, like I'm so renowned in the world that like there's hardly anything I can do that will like damage people's standings of me. So I bought almost all the property in Bowerstone, and I jacked up all the rents and prices like
You
60 to
monster.
75%. But like, and it's really funny because I'd be walking through Bowerstone, and every time I would get money, everyone would turn and look at me, and I would get like evil, like the evil symbol would pop up over their heads, and I was like, what is going on? Why do they all hate me? And then I realized it's because I jacked up all their rents.
You're like every property developer in big cities in North America.
But I have so much money.
Just like all the property developers in every city in North America.
Jim is probably renting them out as Airbnbs. He's not even having long-term tenants.
Yeah, he's building these luxury condos instead of affordable housing, and only investor buddies of his can buy them, and they're basically like a con that benefits no one. Even if people could afford to buy these properties, they wouldn't be able to maintain them because they're in these super expensive high-rises.
Yeah, and he's like buying property cheap and putting in like one new sink and flipping it.
So where are we playing to next
a
time?
businessman, guys. I don't control the property values. This is just
People could live elsewhere.
This is just the market. There's lots of other places in Albion to live.
A lot of people would like to live in a nicer neighborhood, and everyone's property values go up, so it's a win for everyone.
I mean, people could move to Westcliff, but no one is.
There's
It's not my
excellent
fault.
walkability here. Like this is just like
So I did the last mini game. Well, it's not a mini game. It's a scavenger thing. I think that the gargoyles are so fun to shoot because they're so annoying. Like when you hear them, Vanessa says she doesn't hear them over the sound of her Xbox.
Yeah, the fan is so loud that I can't hear the gargoyles talking. Maybe I need to play with headphones in.
Yeah, with headphones you can like echolocate, and I find
Yeah.
that's like a fun little puzzle because you're like, you can hear them, but you're like, are they under this bridge? Are they inside? Like sometimes they're inside houses, and you have to like figure out. Oh, I love that. It's one of my favorite collectathon quests I've ever done. Is these gargoyles? They're great. And next time, and Square Roots, we're going to play until the assault on Bloodstone. So not actually doing it. That'll be the ultimate. That'll be for the ultimate episode, but for the penultimate episode, we're playing to the assault on Bloodstone.
I don't remember the assault on Bloodstone. Oh, okay, I do remember it actually.
You're the one that told us to play to the assault on.
I
that's me.
remember John dead.
Yeah.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
So next time, or before that, Jim, what are you roundly for or squarely against?
I'm gonna say I'm squarely against the uncontrollable way that your character beefs up as you increase your stats. I wish there was a little more customization involved in how your character looked.
Like you could be lithe instead of burly.
Yes, yeah, like I could choose to be like wiry and strong.
Yeah, it's crazy that it's like, oh, did you want to have more health? Be bigger.
Yeah, like when you increase your like, I think physique is what increases your
Physique.
defense.
Toughness.
Toughness. As you increase your toughness, like you just get bigger. Like you get taller and you get like rounder and you just become like a big jet. Like
You get beefier.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
I didn't like
I mean,
that.
you turn into like a superhero as the game goes on.
Yeah, I didn't like that. Squarely against. What about you, Matt?
I'm roundly for the whole Temple of Shadows bullshit. It's so dumb. So silly. Just why? Who cares? It's fun. It's one of the best things that they do in these games are these crazy Temple of Shadows quests and storylines. What about you, Vanessa?
I'm squarely against the Crucible. I don't like it. I think it's boring. It's just like waves of enemy attacks, and it's so lazy. Like, it's just lazy game development. Like,
It
how
does
can
feel
we
lazy.
put something in here? Let's just have like a series of
Yeah.
battles.
And again, it all feels totally unconnected. You've got these long load times in between every room.
Wait, what are you talking
it
about,
doesn't-
Matt?
The thing that Vanessa was talking about. So it is kind of annoying.
Who's next?
John, what are you squarely against?
I am roundly for the gargoyles, but I just mentioned that, so I'm also roundly for the dumb ambient dialogue, like just walking by children and them saying things like, I'm a bad little boy. I just love it. I love all the dumb dialogue in this game. I think it's funnier than the first one, for sure.
Yeah. It definitely understands its humor a little better than the first one.
Yeah. That's it?
All right. Well,
I mean, it is still fun to fart in a crowd of people. Like, it does make me laugh, and I do it sometimes. Sometimes I'll show my trophy, and people will gather around, and I'll have my dog do a trick, and then I'll just, like, burp. And it's fun.
No emails.
So let's talk about that Patreon again.
Yeah, no emails this week. We did plug the Patreon at the top, but if you would like to become a patron and participate in the poll that we have right now, you have to be at the $5 level. You can sign up at patreon.com/Square Roots Podcast, where you can vote on the next mainline Square Roots game that we'll close out 2020 with. Otherwise, we have a big library of bonus content on there, from instant classics to Square Roots Versus. There's some level up episodes on there. Check that out. What are we doing for November?
And for November, we're doing the Chrono Cross sequel episode, which is a fun little experiment, and we are soliciting letters before the end of the month, before we record that episode, and probably a week or so after this comes out. So if you have just an idea for a third Chrono game and you would like us to talk about it on the air, write us a letter at squarerootspodcast@gmail.com.
For once, we want your fan fiction.
And a perk that we give to all of our patrons, regardless of level, is we read their Patreon usernames on the air. So I will kick us off this week with Megan Sullivan, the RPG Luminary, Aiden Marriott, Benjamin Avner, Dr. Fine, say everyone's name, Amanda Douglas, Florian Jonas Kramer, Vanessa's fourth mom, Sergeant Spaghetti, Mary Queen of Scoffs, Wash in the Wind, insert clever name here, Cameron Shoei, Hexagon, PJ Enns, David Shook, Aaron Bachman, Isaac Wright, For Real, No Play, It's Vanessa's mom here to save the day, It's Peanut Butter Jelly Time, Peanut Butter Jelly Time, Christian Go, Paul Bursch, Tyler Petty, Christian Highness, Eyes of the Shifter, Eric Garb, Vanessa's mom, TM, Robot in Greece, A Sad Sack of Broken Molyneux Promises, Fresh Eyes, Alexander Jokic, Samu Mitchell, and Wonder Swan.
Andrew Leinhart, Aaron J.L. O'Toole, Sean Gonzalez, DeJethro. Fable is great, but so is Threads of Fate. Play it in 2021 or the cuzzle will still drizzle gallons, and gallons all over the squoots.
Lord.
Vanessa's
Jesus.
Gold Taco Bell PS5. My PS5 is not golden. It's a sensitive subject. Jonathan Smith, Ron, Hudson Roth, Michael Crawford, Vanessa's mother's brother's nephew's cousin's former roommate. Now, let me see here. Vanessa's mother's brother would be my uncle, so my uncle's nephew would be my brother, and my brother's cousin is my cousin, and I've shared a room with my cousin, so I think this is me. Nathan Poirot, Jonathan Ellsworth, Huxley Iguana, Grey Code, Matt Jorgensen, Adam Zimmerman, Race Jenkins, Yuck Me Harder, Donald, Alex Dillard, Matthew Newland, Matthew Casterline, Mostly Rational Person, Jake Dickerson, Dan, Andy Best, Tracy, Listen Up, Scoot Stains, Dylan Rowe, Chicken Chaser, Metal Gear Solid 1 in 2021, or the Cuzzle will flow all over the Squoots. Taiwan Gordon, Ryan Miller, Ward Childress, Garbage Orphan World Savers LLC.
Jim's horrified bathroom chocobo, that one guy, Chili's Baby Back Mario, I still demand you change your name, still not sure what the frozen flame was, Saving Sid, Citrus C, Joseph, Chris Wilder, Ep, Cassandra, Justin Rash, WWE Mike G, Robert T, Knopford, everyone in the U.S. should know how to speak Stanish, Andy, Joshua Broxson, TJ Miller's horny grandma impersonation, Gage La Charité, Cake Ninja, Brian Pitt, Jared Collins, Witch Coon, Sean Walsh. I challenge the other Tracy to a duel to the pain. The other Tracy spells it with an I. George Brady, Andrew O, Cyril the Wolf, Ethan G. Person, Robert Pullum, Hales, Joshua Bennett, Andy Smith, Jameson. Molyneux later apologized for promising if an acorn falls from a tree, it will grow T-bumpkins later in the game. And Justin Ham.
John pronounced those names like I pronounced Crucible. Jason Timms, OMG, what is this game? You make Sulk sad. Chief Hazard built, Robert J. Defendi, Lyriel of the Claire, Sam Harrison, Devin Sloan, Jordan McNeil, Brie Girth, Miguel Torres, Stephen Paget, supporting Black Lives Matter, Sexy Grandma's Boy Toy is, Ross Hartley, Anti-Brown temporarily seals the gaping brown element. Question, what would the brown out tech look, smell, and sound like? Journey to the center of the girth, living in the walls of Jim's bathroom. David Green, Tom, Carson Clark, Ashley T, Stu Skeel, Chris Ryan, Grayson, Armin Hammer, Fable 2, Fable Goes West has less John Cleese than I remember. Johnny's note, Fable 3 does have lots of John Cleese as the butler. Chris Pignac, Soy Soda Pop, William Westgard, Ari Kapavara, Kevin Walter, and Sean.
All right, everybody,
Sean.
that's it for this episode of Square Roots. You can send us an email to squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. Come see us at our Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast Group, for smart, cool, very attractive people. Or you can tweet at us. We are at Square Roots Pod.
Please rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts.
All right, everybody, for Square Roots, I am Jim Banks.
I'm Matthew Van Zant.
I'm Johnny Brandon.
And I'm Vanessa.
Bye.
Crucible.
I did not get Vanessa. I did not get a new console. Thank you for shaming
coulda had
me
one.
on the
You
air.
coulda had
I
one.
appreciate
I'm pretty
that.
sure Jim
That's true.
literally
I could
has
have had
one with your name on it sitting on his kitchen counter.
That is true. I have well, it's not unclaimed anymore, but it's an unwanted Xbox Series S that Matt does not want.
It's true. I don't. I want an Xbox Series X. And I did not get to the pre-order in time, and now I'm just biding my time. Speaking of biding
Biden.
my time,
Oh,
I'm
Biden.
riding with Biden. Joe Biden. Let's talk about politics. Joe Biden and the transition team started talking about the coronavirus today.
Transition
in an
team.
important-
The media doesn't call elections, brother.
I was telling my friend Ravi about how I was going to download Ninja Gaiden Black and for on my Series X. And he's like, "Look, the world needs less Ninja Gaiden and more Ninja Biden." Am I right?
It's true. But look, in American history, we have a long tradition of waiting until December to decide who the president-elect is. Never before. Look, when Trump was elected the first time, he said, no,
So, the
don't
quest
declare me
log.
president
The ritual.
until the Electoral College
Quest
validates the vote.
log, your home and auto insurance specialist.
The
Quest
new process
log.
is the loser tries to invalidate as many votes as possible. and
Landslide.
No, I
Historic.
heard that they did find one. It was a woman who had voted on behalf of her dead mother, and that was a vote for Trump, and it has been invalidated.
Jesus.
That's good.
And for music, I think we're just going to use the Fable 2 theme unless someone wants to go and try and contact someone else. Nope.
That's fine by me.
Fine.
It's a good theme.
Yeah. Whatever. Come at us.
Come at us.
Molyneux.
Bring it on, Peter Molyneux.
Danny Elfman, who wrote it.
Yeah. Oh, man. You know, in some...
What?
No, I won't even say it.
What?
In some ways, it would be kind of fun to be sued by Danny Elfman.
It would be.
What a claim to fame.
Yeah. Fuck you, Jack Skellington.
Oingo my boingo.